Well guys, we've only got 4 weeks now until this new season gets underway. Let's crack on with some transfer rumours. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Honestly, I'm still a little bit gutted by England over the weekend, but regardless of that, we've got some championship action to really get our teeth stuck into over these next few weeks leading up to the new season. Over on the Patreon, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a reaction to sort of my predictions going into the Euros and a bit more sort of my thoughts on that England game. So if you want to check that out, feel free to head on over to the Patreon. But as always, if you do want to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like. 350 would be massively appreciated. But without any further ado, let's hop into talking about some completed deals. Starting out with the Chelsea left back Juan Castillo, he's completed a season-long loan move to Birmingham. Birmingham already had a couple of options in that area, obviously Steve Seddon, who's coming through, and Christian Pedersen as well, but he comes in as another option on that side, can also play in midfield as well. And Taith Chong comes on loan from Manchester United for this season, adds a little bit more flair and dynamism to that Birmingham forward line. I think that quite a few championship clubs will be going quite hard on the loan market this summer, especially with how the pandemic's going to impact clubs' finances and things like that. So yeah, decent little deal for Birmingham there. Jordan Archer joined QPR on a free transfer after his contract had expired at Middlesbrough. This comes after the departures of the likes of Liam Kelly and Joe Lumley, so you'd expect Archer to come in as that sort of backup option to Senny Dieng. Ryan Longman has joined Hull for the season. He comes on loan from Brighton. This comes after an impressive season last time round in League One with AFC Wimbledon. He can play pretty much anywhere across midfield or up front. He was quite good for goal scoring actually. He scored 8 goals in League One. Liam Walsh completed his move to Swansea City. This comes after his contract had expired at Bristol City and they couldn't come to an agreement with a new deal. If he manages to keep himself fit, this could turn out to be one of the bargain buys of the summer, with the 23-year-old still having plenty of potential. Victor Gyökeres has completed a permanent move to Coventry. Obviously, the Swedish striker spent the second half of last season on loan at Coventry and he has now penned a 3-year deal with them. He scored 3 goals in 19 appearances for Coventry in the second half of the season. The fee, I think, is believed to be around about the 1 million mark. Coventry fans, what do you make of this one? QPR have completed the loan move for Norwich fullback Sam McCallum. I thought he was quite impressive actually last season in the Championship as he was loaned out to Coventry. He's comfortable playing either as a left back or a little bit further forward as a left wing back, so will suit QPR's sort of flexibility at the back defensively. I think he's quite assured. Jimmy Dean, who's also completed the move to QPR, the 23-year-old defender, turned down a new deal at Burnley in the search of first team football, and he has another option to QPR at the back next season. The defender's previously been linked to the likes of Preston North End and Swansea, but QPR have managed to get this deal over the line. Stoke City midfielder Peter Etebo has completed a season-long loan deal to Watford. Decent player Peter Etebo, just that he's one of the higher earners there at Stoke, so they were looking to get him off the wage bill once again. He's had 2 previous loan spells out to Getafe and then Galatasaray. Shame that we didn't get to see all too much of Etebo in a Stoke shirt. West Brom have completed the deal for the Portuguese midfielder Kevin Moses. The teenager comes in after previously having trials with Arsenal and spending some time with the Chelsea under-23s. But of course the big deal comes from Michael Olise, who has completed a move to Crystal Palace with the fee believed to be only around £8 million. I think that Crystal Palace have got an absolute bargain with that deal there. Olise last season was named as the Championship Young Player of the Year after the 19-year-old absolutely ripped things up in the Championship. He got 19 goal contributions that season. He was one of the most creative players in the league. Absolutely wicked on the ball and superb from dead ball situations as well. You know, imagining him linking up with like Zaha and Eze next season at Palace, that could be an absolute dream. But yeah, Reading have lost a massive player there, but it was probably to be expected, wasn't it? But guys, those are some of the completed deals that we've seen go through in the Championship over the past week or so. Now, without any further ado, let's hop into some rumours. Starting out with a bit of a nice story really. That's Sol Bamba, who is currently training with Middlesbrough, linking up with his former manager Neil Warnock, who he's previously worked with at both Cardiff and Leeds. Now, obviously Sol Bamba had a really tough time, you know, recently with the diagnosis and then his recovery last season. He's now got the chance to train at Middlesbrough to sort of build his fitness up. Whether he will actually be offered the contract with Borough going into next season is yet to be seen, but it was worth mentioning that he is currently training with them. Both Middlesbrough and Swansea have been linked with a move for the former Bristol City striker Fama Ajiju, who is available on a free transfer this summer. Now, you'd imagine that there would be quite a bit to pay in terms of wages and things like that, but to pick him up on a free transfer, someone who, you know, love him or hate him, does score goals at this level. He averaged a goal for Bristol City in the Championship every 3 or so matches, which, given they weren't exactly the most creative side in the league over the last couple of seasons, the fact that he got into double figures with them every season he was there in all competitions was impressive in itself. And of course, it's still to be expected that Swansea and Middlesbrough are in the market for a striker. I know that Swansea have got a few there at the moment, but they're all still fairly unproven. So yeah, that's one to certainly keep your eye on. Ryan Giles is being linked with a move to Cardiff on loan for this season. He had a couple of loan spells out through the Championship last time round where he did pretty well at Rotherham especially. He had a loan move prior to that with Coventry. He's really quite a useful player actually on that left hand side. Can play absolutely anywhere, whether it's as a left back, a left wing back, or into midfield. He's 21 years old and so still has plenty of room to grow, and he's absolutely rapid, isn't he? Matt Clark looks as if he's on his way to West Brom. He had previously been linked to Sheffield United, the Brighton defender who spent the last 2 seasons out on loan at Derby, where he's probably been one of their best defenders during those 2 seasons. Last season in the Premier League, West Brom conceded 76 goals, the most of any Premier League club, and so the fact that they are looking to strengthen in this area is probably sensible. John Hugill has been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not Norwich would be willing to let Hugill go this summer. With the majority of his minutes last season in the Championship coming off the bench, his game time may be a little bit more limited next season in the Premier League, but obviously Norwich would have to line up a replacement beforehand. Hugill was sort of Pookie's understudy last season. He also had a couple of injuries during that time as well. But following the disappointing seasons that both Lyle Taylor and Lewis Grabban have had, they only scored 10 goals between them last season. It's no surprise to see that Forest potentially are going after a striker in this window. Sam Fleming has been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest at the moment. This would be quite an exciting deal if Forest were able to pull this one off. I'd seen Napoli also mentioned in the conversation for the Dutch youngster. He's just coming off the back of a terrific season in the Eredivisie, where he scored 12 goals and got 7 assists. Forest really struggled with creativity last season, and so for them to be going into this area makes sense, although it may take a 7-figure sum for Forest to get this deal over the line. It also begs the question, what's the future regarding João Carvalho looking like? He spent the last season out on loan there, but whether or not he'll be reintegrated into the squad heading into next season, or Forest are just looking to sell him right now, we'll have to wait and see. That'll be an exciting deal though if they did get that one done. Adam Armstrong is being heavily linked with a move to Southampton at the moment, fresh off the back of a 28-goal season. He's probably one of the most sought after strikers in the EFL at the moment, so this speculation comes at no surprise. And also, he's now heading into his final year at Blackburn, so they're going to need to make a decision on him pretty much this summer, whether they want to cash in or keep him for this season. Now, with the rumour to Southampton, it's made a little bit more interesting because a potential swap deal could be happening plus cash. Michael Obafemi, who's at Southampton, who Blackburn have been a fan of previously, could potentially be used as part of this deal as sort of a player plus cash exchange, but yeah, that'll certainly be an interesting one. Now, last time we spoke about Wolves' interest in Fulham fullback Anthony Robinson, and now Manchester City are also in the race for signing the Fulham fullback. I don't think it would be the worst sell in the world for Fulham. I quite like Robinson, but if they were able to get a decent figure for him, then bring Joe Bryan back into the squad, it's not a bad situation. Barnsley are after Burnley midfielder Josh Benson. Following the departure of Alex Moe at Barnsley, are obviously looking into their midfield as an area to strengthen. He's 21 years old, very much ticks a lot of boxes for what Barnsley are looking for, and fits into their sort of recruitment strategy. Last season, Benson featured in 6 Premier League matches for Burnley, but they're yet to come to any sort of agreement with the club. Kyle Edwards is currently on trial with Reading. I believe he featured in their most recent pre-season friendly. After being let go by West Brom this summer, he is now available on a free transfer. 23-year-old winger still has a bit to prove. I'd imagine that he'd get a move somewhere to the Championship this season. It's just a question of whether Reading want to take up the option of giving him a contract. Bristol City have been linked to Michael Smith. The Rotherham United striker has attracted plenty of interest so far. I think we've spoken previously about Middlesbrough Middlesbrough's interest in Smith. He's coming off the back of a 10-goal season with Rotherham last time round, and there's a real handful for defenders at this level. He won 7 aerial duels per 90 with Rotherham last season, which makes him one of the most effective sort of target men in the league. And after the departure of Jeju this summer from Bristol City, the strike is what they're after. Next up then, let's get into the Derby County section of today's video, because they have got a lot of people who are on trial at the moment, and Derby are sort of going to be forced to go into the free agents market because of the current situation they're in. The first player that they've been linked to and that is on trial with them at the moment, or at least training with them, is Ravel Morrison. The 28-year-old once again is looking to relaunch his career in England. Now, he's not particularly played a lot of football over the past 3 or so seasons. The most amount of matches he's managed in the last 3 seasons are 9. It's a gamble, but as Derby aren't really left with much else, it may be a gamble worth taking. So the Aluko is also training with Derby at the moment after being let go by Reading. His time at Reading really fizzled out towards the end of it, didn't it? It was a move that at the time there was quite a bit of hype about with the amount of money that Reading put down for him, but yeah, a move that didn't work out at all. He's 32 years old now and is looking for another chance in the Championship. And Sam Baldock is also training with Derby at the moment after being let go by Reading. The 32-year-old didn't score for Reading last season. The majority of his appearances did come off the bench. He made 16 appearances off the bench for Reading last season, but was another player similar to Aluko where things didn't really click for him at Reading. Phil Jagielka is also with that Derby squad at the moment, the defender who's set to turn 39 years old in August. I mean, he certainly adds experience to what is already a fairly youthful Derby squad. Richard Stearman is also training with Derby County at the moment. The 33-year-old played 21 matches for Huddersfield in the Championship last season. Certainly a lot of experience would be about that backline, but definitely not a lot of pace in there. And goalkeeper Ryan Alsop is also training with the squad at the moment. I mean, Alsop had his moments certainly for Wycombe last season, considering he only made 29 starts for them. Only 9 other Championship goalkeepers made more saves last season than Alsop did, which showed you just how busy he was between the sticks. Middlesbrough are said to be confident of completing a deal for Argentinian midfielder Matheus Pereira. Now, this one would be subject to the player getting a work permit in England, as obviously he'd be coming over from Argentina, but would be a really exciting deal nonetheless. Middlesbrough probably in need of a little bit of craft and invention into that midfield. Scott Dan could be on his way to the Championship after Bournemouth have registered an interest in the defender following on from his release from Crystal Palace this summer. After not featuring for Liverpool in the second half of last season, Ben Davies could be made available for a season-long loan, with both Celtic and Bournemouth reigniting their interest in the defender. Now, I've obviously already seen Ben Pearson made that move from Preston to Bournemouth. Ben Davies could do the same with Liverpool in between, but yeah, Bournemouth fans, trust me, when we told you that Ben Pearson was good, I think that Ben Davies could even be a step above him. He's absolute class. It's a shame that he's not been given the chance at Liverpool so far, but yeah, for either Bournemouth or Celtic, he'd be an absolute wonder. Sheffield United want to get a move over the line for the Wolves defender Dion Sanderson. Now, already in this transfer window, he's been linked around to several clubs. He's had a few decent loan spells out to Sunderland and to Cardiff. Newcastle and Sunderland have both been linked to the defender, but Sheffield United are looking to fend off any interest and get this deal done. Now, last time we spoke about Harry Wilson's links back to the Championship and a potential loan move to Swansea that could have been on the cards, but New Boys Brentford could be in the market for Wilson this summer as they prepare a reported £10 million bid for the winger. Obviously, if this was to come through, then Wilson wouldn't be made available for another loan spell in the Championship, so that move to Brentford could have quite the knock-on effects for other clubs in the market. And we'll finish today off with a bit of Matheus Pereira news. Now, West Brom have reportedly received a bid for him, only in the region of around about £6 or £7 million though. That comes from the Saudi Arabian team Al Hilal. It's already been reported by other journalists and things like that West Brom would be looking for a fee, you know, in the region of around about £25 million to let Pereira go this summer. Pereira also has his admirers in the Premier League, but it's interesting to see that first sort of like concrete offer has come in for him. I expect it to be the first of many. But guys, that'll wrap it up for today's video. As always, if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stick around for a bit of regular Championship content. Apart from that though guys, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.